This is the proper way to negotiate as an influencer or a content creator. So many people who embark on being their own personal brand, influencing content creation, get really excited by their first few brand deals, and I get it. I remember back in the day when I first started my blog and I would get approached by brands, how effing excited I was even to literally get a free coffee mug. It was the coolest thing in the world because in a sense, nowadays, the idea of entrepreneurship is so revamped. I can sit here and teach all of you guys about building a personal brand and get paid to do it. I didn't need to go to college and I didn't have to pay anyone to teach me. I'm totally self-taught through the process of experimenting and learning. But just because you are an influencer or a content creator doesn't mean that you shouldn't follow traditional business tactics. And this is why I always negotiate with brands. Once you start using my techniques and pitching brands or getting brands pitching you about partnership deals, again, it's very exciting. Your first few deals, when a brand offers you money, more than just product, you're gonna wanna say yes to that $100, $200, $300 in a millisecond. And look, if you get 10 brands in 1 month to pay you $100, and yes, every single brand, small or big, has $100, you've now made $1,000. Get 20, 30 brands, we're looking at $2,000, $3,000. That's a decent amount of money. So don't get caught up in trying to ask brands for thousands of dollars in one brand deal when you can get multiple brands to pay you if you're just starting out. But going back to the negotiating, so what I've really noticed is super helpful is coming up with bundle deals with brands. So brands are usually working with tons of different influencers. There's also PR teams behind brands that have agencies that have essentially lists on all of the influencers out there, their numbers, any case studies on working with them. So don't think that you're really that special if they reach out to you and do a cold outreach. You're gonna still have to sell yourself as often as you would have to sell yourself if you were reaching out to them. So when a brand reaches out to you and says, or if you reach out to them and introduce yourself, ask if they're interested in partnering, or if they reach out to you and ask what your rates are, I always like to counter with saying something like, for example, if a brand reaches out to me and asks what I charge for a blog post, I would say I charge $1,500 for a blog post. However, I would love to collaborate with you and offer multiple different services because yes, even though I'm a personal brand, it's still a business. I have services, which would include a TikTok video, a reel, 2 Instagram stories, and a podcast ad for $2,500. But if you want to just do a blog post, you're looking at $1,700. So of course, if we're looking at a brand that is a well-oiled machine of a company, they have that kind of money, that is a good deal. The same that when you go to a thrift store or when you go to a yard sale, you're gonna say, hey, can I buy this shirt, this top, and this pair of shoes for $50 and get 3 pieces for the cost of 1 because it's a good deal, it's bartering. So if a brand says to you, we're only able to offer you $1,500, but now that you mention all of those options, could you please get back to us with what you could do for $1,500? That's when I would say, okay, I can do the blog post and 1 Instagram story, or I can do 1 TikTok video and 2 Instagram stories, depending on how many services you have. I have a full running oiled machine company as well. So I have so many different services, whereas a lot of content creators only have an Instagram, a TikTok, a Facebook, Pinterest, whatever. They don't have every single one, the podcast, the website. So it makes it a little bit different. For me, I have more of an edge when I'm selling myself and when I'm bartering because I have many more services. So that's why I would totally encourage you to add as many services as you can into your business because it sets you apart from the next influencer. But I would decide how often you want to work with this brand, see if you can get them to sign a 3-month deal. So if they say we have $1,000, you could say I could offer a blog post and a story or 2 stories and a TikTok, or I could actually work with you guys and spread the content out over 3 months for $2,500 and see if they are engaged by that idea. That's really how you create residual income from your website and from your social media services instead of doing a one-off deal. Another tactic that I like to use is if I go and pitch a brand simply and say, I would love to do all of these, the blog post, the podcast ad for $3,000. And they say, we unfortunately can only do 1,000. Then I would say, are you able to do 1,200? Even though $1,000 sounds like a lot of money, I countered pretty high and started at $3,000, knowing that they would come down. They're coming down $2,000, which is a pretty big come down. So I need to still show them that I didn't just say $3,000 out of nowhere. Prove to this brand that I've been paid this $3,000, which is why I said it from the beginning, but that I'm willing to negotiate with them because it's our first time working together and I want them to be happy with the service. So most of the time I get a yes from that. If they counter and come back with a way lower number, I'm usually quite successful at least getting them to come up $200 or $300. And to me, that $200 or $300 is not a ton of money, but what it is could be literally 50 almond milk lattes or a flight wherever I want to go, or even just getting my hair done for the post, for the brand, so that I'm really getting everything that I wanted and working with this particular brand. If you want more tips on how to negotiate as a content creator or an influencer, go to the link in bio below and check out everything that I have to offer. You can also book a coaching call with me on pitching yourself to brands. I've landed major partnerships without having millions of followers with every company from British Airways to T-Mobile to Shake Shack and Headspace. And you can also download my free templates to pitching different companies so you know how to pitch the Alexa Curtis way.